With D2R's Ladder 2 patch 2.5 coming on October 6th, here are the 10 best ways that I think you can get rich starting from absolutely nothing. Alright, for the first one, this one is more of a concept, but I will say that this is a very simple idea that is really underrated when you actually look at the grand scheme of Diablo 2 play. And that is, town is lava, which basically means stay out of town as much as possible. If you are in town, you are not taking out monsters, you are not clicking on chests, you are not getting experience, you are not generating any loot. The next one is tried and true, and that is make a Blizzard Sorceress. And what we do with that Blizzard Sorceress is we boss farm Mephisto and Dariel. We use the moat trick to farm Mephisto, where he can't attack us, but we can attack him with Blizzard over and over again, while stacking tons of magic find on our character if we can through a 3 topaz helmet and a topazed armor. At the very least, stack as much magic find as you can and try to hit the 63 FCR breakpoint so you can get through Durance of Hate without dying most of the time. You have to also make sure you avoid all the council members down there. Those guys can be dangerous, especially with the hydras that they stack on you. So just make sure you stay in that moat spot and just drag him down. As far as Andy farming goes, you can just run around the little blood pool that's at Andy, take her out with Blizzard. That is a very effective way to do it. Use a lower resist wand on swap to lower the resistances of the bosses. Rinse and repeat until you are rich. You can even start trading some of the extra items that you don't need when you already have them. This is a very effective strategy in the early stages of the ladder. The third one is rushes. This one's kind of tied to a Blizzard Sorceress, or at least a character that is competent when clearing through hell. But what you can do is rush for Forge. Essentially, as soon as you get to Act 4 in hell, they will give you their Forge for the rush that you did. And that Forge can drop up to a goal rune, which is actually a very decent drop for the first few days of the ladder. However, I would not recommend doing this strategy as the ladder goes on, because the value of a goal rune isn't that good over the next few days as the ladder continues on. Beware though, some people do try to scam you with this, and it can be annoying when that actually happens, where you just give them a rush and then they just quit. So definitely make sure you keep track of their name, keep track of what's going on, and try to get that Forge as soon as you can. Make a Sorceress and farm Uber keys. These keys are going to be valuable for quite a bit while everybody's trying to get their first torches. And with the Countess, you can even get extra runes along the way. And then the Summoner, you have a bunch of ghosts that you can kill along the way in Arcane Sanctuary, which have a chance for additional runes and charms and things like that, just because their drop table doesn't drop regular equipment. Then when you go into Halls of Vought for the destruction keys where Nilthak's at, he can even drop any item in the game because he is level 95. Farming full sets of keys and then selling them as full sets can net you plenty of currency in the early stages of the ladder. One of the builds I would recommend for this is actually a Lightning Sorceress. You can even do a Blizzard Sorceress as well. You just have to make sure that your mercenary can take out the Countess after you static her down. The next thing highly related to the Uber keys is actually doing the Ubers themselves. The easiest way to do this and get it done as fast as possible is to actually make a Paladin and make a Smiter. I have a Smiter guide on my YouTube and on Maxroll if you guys want to check that out. Stack on some Crushing Blow, stack on some Open Wounds, some Resistances, and get a source of Life Tap, whether it's a Life Tap Wand or Dracul's Grasp, and then go into the Uber areas and fight the mini bosses, take out Lilith, Isuel, and Duriel, combine those and make the portal to Tristram, try to separate the bosses out, and then take them out one by one. Make sure you got rejuice, make sure you got that Life Tap, some mana potions to counter the mana drain, then you get your torch, and then you can even decide whether or not you want to sell it unidentified, which is a possibility, or you can idea and gamble to try to get that 2020 Sorceress. Either way, doing Ubers is going to be very, very profitable for you in the early stages of the game because everyone's going to want a torch, and especially a sorceress torch. Terror zones. Now, I think these terror zones are going to be very, very strong, especially at the higher levels that you actually get, because it does scale based on your character level. Now, what I would do is I would farm these areas as fast as possible. You do need to be safe because the monsters are higher level, so I wouldn't go too high on the MF unless you feel like you can handle it, and just take out these monsters with like 300 magic find or so, or the best that you can find, and over time you'll start dropping some pretty crazy items. I think things like Griffin's Eye are going to be a lot more common in some of these zones. In addition to that, the only way to currently get these Sunder Charms is in the terror zones from killing the elite packs. The new Sunder Charms are going to be extremely sought after if you hit something like cold, fire, or even lightning. Another option is doing Travancal farming with the council members. A Barbarian with Berserk, Warcry, or Leap Attack can actually get this job done really, really well. I would recommend stacking some magic find here and making sure you have plenty of points in defined items. The Travancal members can drop up to like 3 different items per member. It's absolutely insane. Those guys have a very good drop table as well, and high runes and things like that are very good on players 1 for this. The next one is high rune farming, killing as many monsters as you possibly can, whether it's a Javazon in cows, a light sorceress and ghost farming in arcane, chaos sanctuary. Basically, you just want to take out as many monsters as you can, and even if you don't get any super high runes, you'll at least be getting charms as well, which also give you an opportunity to do more trading. Then, like I just said, trading. And this is the one exception I will give you to some extent to Town is Lava. So as long as you are trading constantly, you're not just sitting there waiting for a trade to happen, then trading can be really good. If you are actively making trades with people on people's discords, like say mine or Llamas, Debrunskis, Macrobio Boys, Sweet Fills, whoever's Discord or a trading site like Tradery or something, then this can be effective. One thing I will say about trading is that make sure in the early stages of the ladder that things don't sit in your stash for so long. Even if an item is worth, let's say, an rune, but you undercut yourself by like a pull or a lem rune, that item probably isn't going to be worth much for very long, so the sooner you can offload that, the better. It's also not that hard to complete trades when you're giving the other person a really crazy deal, and as long as you're playing quite a bit, then it shouldn't be an issue that you're not getting the full value for some of those items. So try to undercut yourself a little bit in the trading if you're also farming pretty consistently. So the next one is seal popping. You are going to need a character that's going to be fast like a sorceress, and you're also going to need to be able to take out each one of the bosses consistently. Now with seal popping, there's a strategy where you go into Chaos Sanctuary and you blow up all the monsters using the Chaos Sanctuary seal mechanic to get a bunch of loot. None of these items will be affected by your magic find, so all you really care about here is kill speed and movement speed. Your mobility here is actually really important. So the way it works is you kind of keep all the monsters alive other than the seal bosses. You want to open up all seals except for the 5th one, then teleport back to the entrance, and then teleport back and click that seal as fast as you can. What this does is it keeps the monsters active, and then you have about 8 seconds to pop them and they'll drop a bunch of loot. Again, then you just go back to the entrance or whatever and see what you found. Hopefully it's a high rune. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this list. If I did miss any tips, definitely leave them in the comments below. What are some of the strategies that you guys use when you start off a ladder? Thank you all for watching. You are all beasts.